Deputy Clare Daly. I'll take Deputy Daly as well. 1 minute.
Minister, it's an odd type of ceasefire that's been maintained when it's an established fact that Israel has been giving material aid to ISIS, the al-Nusra Front and others in the Golan Heights. The very same al-Nusra Front against whom Irish Defence Forces personnel were sheltering from for 5 days. The same al-Nusra Front who kidnapped 44 Filipino peacekeepers in the region 3 years ago. The UNDOF report itself, the last one from Golan, in May of this year pointed out the fact that large artillery weapons have been observed within the 10-kilometre ceasefire line, multiple rocket launching systems and Iron Dome systems within the 20-kilometre ceasefire lines. Multiple violations of the ceasefire. It's quite clear at this stage that it has been and is being used by Israel as a cover for its annexation of the region, and the comments publicly by Prime Minister Netanyahu to that effect last month, when he says the Golan will always be ours and that will always be the case, lends weight to that. We are legitimising an annexation and it should be a withdrawal.
Minister. First of all, let me state that I answered questions to the media on this last week. I was asked a number of frank questions and I responded to them. No other member of the opposition phoned me or called me to state their concerns regarding what happened last week. But our ability to protect the health and safety of our personnel is my paramount concern when considering any mission. And it is the policy and practice to ensure that Defence Forces personnel serving overseas are appropriately trained and equipped with the most modern and effective equipment to carry out their mission. Unfortunately, let me state that no mission is without danger, and I am assured by the Chief of Staff that appropriate security measures are in place for Defence Forces personnel serving with the United Nations Disengagement Observer Group. And let me state to Deputy Wallace that during my visit to the UNDOF mission area earlier this year, as I stated, that I met with the head of mission and the force commander, Major General Menon, who briefed me on the ongoing situation and the challenges facing the mission. I also had a similar opportunity to be briefed and to brief my concerns to the UN Under-Secretary when I met him in Malta at a European Council
Minister, according to Al Marsad Arab Human Rights Centre in the Golan Heights, the 23,000 Israeli settlers in Golan occupy 95% of the land, leaving just 5% for the 25,000 Syrians living there. Now, Minister, back in 1989, there was only 600 Israelis living there. Now the population is at 23,000, and plans to make it grow further. And, Minister, the recent reduction in US funding to the UN, are the US actually undermining the UN missions now? I mean, does your government have any concerns about that area? And Minister, as I repeat, Minister, what Israel is doing in the Golan Heights is reminiscent of what they've done in Palestine, and we should have no act or part in it. And Minister, it's time that we took our troops home and brought them somewhere where they'll be better served.
Minister.
Sorry, that's Michael. Yeah. Minister, I think that it's an absolute fact that the civil war in Syria is being actively used by Israel to make its hold on the Golan Heights permanent, in flagrant breach of the UNDOF mission. And by us continuing, we're legitimising that illegal act. Now, you said the last time we raised this, oh, well, you don't recognise Israeli sovereignty in the region. Well, you mightn't, but it's an absolute fact, and that's not much comfort to the 25,000 Syrians crammed into 5 overcrowded villages, while Israeli settlers have spread themselves out over 95% of the land. It's not going to stop Israel hoovering up the profits from a recent massive oil find in the area either. So, by us staying there, not only are we actually legitimising it, but we're standing by and facilitating them doing it. I think it's been an open secret, no secret at all, in other words. The Israeli Prime Minister has been lobbying to legitimise this annexation, and by us staying, we're undoing a lot of the good work that Irish peacekeepers have done, and there's a lot of other places in and around the world where they could be much better and more appropriately deployed.
Minister. Let me state again that no mission goes without its dangers, and I don't believe, Deputy Wallace, that it would be the best interest of peacekeeping to pull members of the Irish Defence Forces out of the Golan Heights. I believe that they are doing a very important work there on an ongoing basis. Let me brief to the Deputy Chambers that I received a brief on this from the General Staff regarding the ongoing situation in Anduff, and I have asked the Deputy Chief of Staff Operations, General Brennan, to keep me abreast of all ongoing situations out there. Deputy Wallace mentioned about the US undermining UN peacekeeping efforts, and let me state that Ireland is absolutely steadfastly committed to UN peacekeeping, and this informs our interactions with all partners at the UN and elsewhere regarding the issue that you have brought up. The Department of Foreign Affairs has confirmed that during the discussions on the UN's budget for peacekeeping operations in 2017-2018, Ireland's priority was to ensure that peacekeeping operations have the resources available to carry out fully their mandates safely and effectively. And I have been assured by the Chief of Staff that our own personnel are equipped to carry out and to have the safety out there to carry out and to partake in the mission that they are involved in.
Thank you very much.